The Washington Post is hemorrhaging subscribers after owner and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos personally intervened to block the paper's endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris. More than 200,000 people as of Monday, midday Monday. It is now currently midday Tuesday, so those numbers are probably higher by now. But more than 200,000 people had canceled their digital subscriptions to the Washington Post. Some subscriptions, of course, for example, if you're actually still getting the paper itself delivered, take a little bit more time to cancel. But as far as digital goes, 200,000 out of the 2.5 million subscribers are gone.
Bing, 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 boom. It's gone.
Not insignificant. In fact, this is about 8% of Washington Post subscribers, with likely more to be reported. So now, former Post executive editor Marcus Broccoli told NPR, quote, "It's a colossal number." I mean, he made a comparison between the New York Times saying that, oh yeah, no, we had like 10,000 subscribers or something like that, an additional 10,000, and that was huge. So understand that's a big number, very, very big number. I couldn't imagine having 200,000 paid subscribers, much less losing them. Okay, my Patreon, nowhere near that. Okay, nowhere near that. In fact, this entire channel has just over 200,000 subscribers to it. So, I mean, the amount of people that canceled on the Washington Post is about how many I currently have. And not all of you are obviously paid subscribers. You don't pay to watch this on YouTube, right? And so I couldn't imagine having that much and then losing it. Hell, if I had 200 people sign up to my Patreon or 20, make my day, maybe my year. So yeah, couldn't imagine. Now back to Marcus Broccoli, right? So you talked about the Bezos decision, and you said, quote, "The problem is people don't know why the decision was made. We basically know the decision was made, but we don't know what led to it. We can guess. I'm gonna do that right now. In fact, look, I think Bezos knows that Donald Trump will cut taxes on him. And not only that, but would dismantle government agencies that could break up Amazon. It's not as if Lena Khan, head of the FTC, hasn't been suing Amazon. A little bit of antitrust actions here, which would not be good for people like Jeff Bezos. Oh, but anyway, not only that, but on the flip side, Trump could then also punish companies like the Washington Post and go after them because, they've said mean things about Trump before. So there's carrots and sticks at play here, and that's not a good thing. Now, that said, I mean, when you're talking about, obviously, the sticks, when it comes to the media, right, having the government threaten the media, that's not a good thing. That's actually anti-First Amendment, since we are supposed to have a freedom of the press. And, I mean, why do you think fascists tend to go after the press first? Press, enemy of the people, fake news. We've seen it all before, so this is not good. Now, that said, Chief Executive and Publisher Will Lewis on Friday explained the decision not to endorse his return to the Post's roots as a independent paper. Oh, yes, they're so independent. Owned by a billionaire. Right. Sure. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that they don't sometimes put out some great pieces thanks to the actual journalists that were doing the work. And some of them do some fantastic work. They're not the real issue here. The problem is, well, you go to the top, right? You got the editors, which answer to the owners. And the owner said of this endorsement, "Not on my watch. No, sir." Now, speaking of time, watch time, the timing here, pretty suspect. Because look, they could have announced this years ago that, oh yeah, we're not going to do endorsements. And other papers have done the same thing, right? And so people were like, well, that's kind of annoying, but okay, whatever, don't care. But this was just days before the election, at a time when the editorial board had already written that endorsement and had it ready to go. Bezos sticks his hand in there and says, nah, not going to happen. So, I don't know Jeff Bezos's frame of mind, but I would assume that in order to do that at last minute, you'd have to be kind of freaking out. And I can sort of get it, dealing with a fascist who has threatened the media before. Oh my God, I've got to, stop this. Well, I mean, by this, I mean the threat to me and myself and my money, and not the threat to actual democracy. And so that's the concerning thing, okay? Now, he puts out a statement on Monday saying, oh, no, this was just inadequate planning. Not an intentional strategy. Oh, no, there's no quid pro quo of any kind at work here. Oh, no, not at all. Everything about the situation says that Bezos, to me, was rattled. I think he could see Trump winning and coming after him and his wealth, and he no likey that. Now, the thing is, Donald Trump, I don't think would actually directly go after Jeff Bezos. He'd go after the Washington Post, obviously, he already has. He'd go after the reporters who've reported on Trump's wrongdoing and that of his associates. In fact, the editorial page characterized Trump as a threat to democracy, and they are right. He is. But Trump is a coward. He never goes after powerful people. He goes after the people he thinks can't or won't fight back. Or he unleashes his people to do it for him, because this guy does not fight his own battles unless he literally has no choice. Bezos, though, Bezos has a choice. He's got all the money in the world. And what he's doing, in my opinion, is putting his financial interests over the interests of the actual country, which is not going over well, obviously, with Washington Post readership, which is generally DC bubble, kind of people. Look, 3 of the top 10 viewed stories on the Post website on Sunday were articles written by staffers outraged with Bezos' decision. The top one was actually Alexandra Petrie's piece. She's their humor columnist. I've read a few of her pieces before. Headline, "It has fallen to me, the humor columnist, to endorse Harris for president." Turns out that was read more than by more than 174,000 people online. That's pretty good. Now, in addition to losing 200,000 paying subscribers, the paper has also lost some of its columnists. One of them, Molly Roberts, put out this warning saying, Donald Trump is not yet a dictator, but the quieter we are, the closer he comes. It's pretty clear there. Then you've got Pulitzer Prize winner David Hoffman writing this. For decades, the Washington Post editorials have been a beacon of light, seeking hope to dissidents, political prisoners, and the voiceless. The victims of repression were harassed, exiled, imprisoned, and murdered. We made sure the whole world knew the truth. Now, it's important to note, by the way, that Hoffman won the Pulitzer for his compelling and well-researched series on the new technologies and the tactics authoritarian regimes used to repress dissent in the digital age and how they can be fought. So that's what he won his Pulitzer on. So he kind of knows what he's talking about, right? And so there's a bit of irony going on here, and it's not lost on anyone, all right? In fact, he said, I believe we face a real threat of autocracy in the candidacy of Donald Trump. I find it untenable and unconscionable that we have lost our voice. Look, this is how fascism happens. Why do you think fascists always attack universities and the press? They want to stifle free thought, and they want to stifle free expression and facts. So, and guess who always ends up helping fascists? The wealthy elite. Because they don't want to lose their wealth and privilege. That's it. Now, you also had former columnist Robert Kagan, who resigned from the paper, saying this, quote, we are in fact bending the knee to Donald Trump because we're afraid of what he will do. Yeah. He also noted that officials from Bezos' Blue Origin aerospace company had met with Trump a few hours after the decision had become public. Blue Origin has a multi-billion-dollar contract with NASA. During the Trump administration, Amazon sued the government after alleging that it had blocked a $10 billion cloud computing services contract with the Pentagon over the then president's anger about coverage in the Post. So right there, you've got the $1 billion contract with NASA, and then you have other agreements with Amazon and their cloud computing services. Yeah, that's, I mean, you've got some pretty direct financial incentives to work with the fascist that you don't want to lose. Now, Bezos claims he didn't know about the meeting between Blue Origin executives and Trump on Friday, saying, quote, "I sighed when I found out." Oh, you sighed. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. He sighed, everybody. Because I knew it would provide ammunition to those who would like to frame this as anything other than a principled decision. When it comes to the appearance of conflict, I am not an ideal owner of the Post. No kidding. I assure you, though, that my views here are, in fact, principled, and I believe my track record as owner of the Post since 2013 backs this up. Well, let's look at some of your track record. Like, for example, when Trump was running 2016, but you also had one person who could actually beat Donald Trump. And yet, the Washington Post, what did they do? They worked against candidates like Bernie Sanders. How about constantly working against progressive policies like Medicare for All? How about using allegedly objective voice to warn against extremism on the left and on the right? Now, there's right-wing extremism, and we're seeing it right now. But what's the left extremism? Where is that? Where's the left extremists? Wanting health care for everybody? A federal jobs guarantee? Housing for everyone? Oh my God. Extremism. Extremism. No, look, the Washington Post is the establishment, right? And Jeff Bezos is the establishment. And because Bezos benefits from the establishment, he would benefit from a continuation. More tax cuts for the rich. More deregulation on industry. And so he would benefit more from being on Donald Trump's good side. It's true, though. Now, that said, he wouldn't endorse Trump because the backlash would destroy the Washington Post. Okay? And so he really can't do anything other than what he did, which is personally scrapping the endorsement of Kamala Harris and then claiming, I only did it because I was principled. No. There's nothing principled about this. This is nothing more than a very, very rich person looking out for their own wealth and saying, screw the country, I'm just looking out for me. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe with the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.